Peppa Pig, Candy Cat. This is Peppa's friend, Candy Cat.
Meow.
Candy is good at skipping.
Wow.
Watch, Peppa,
Meow.
Says Candy.
can you count with me?
Okay, Peppa nods.
1, 2, 3.
Candy's mummy works with Daddy Pig.
Mummy's job is all about drawing shapes on a computer,
Meow.
Says Candy.
What a nice
Job, says Peppa. Peppa and Candy have lots of fun together at playgroup,
Today we are doing ballet.
Meow.
says Candy.
Let's dance.
Says Peppa.
Follow me.
Sometimes Peppa and Candy go to the petting farm.
Wow.
It is full of tiny little animals,
I love the chicks.
Meow.
says Candy.
I love the guinea pigs.
Says Peppa. Peppa has lots of fun with her friend Candy, even when they both want to dress up as witches. And they still have a magical time. Peppa loves Candy Cat. Everyone loves Candy Cat. The end. Peppa Pig, Rebecca Rabbit. This is Peppa's friend, Rebecca Rabbit. Rebecca is very good at swimming,
Paddle your arms
says Rebecca.
and kick your legs.
Says Peppa. Rebecca's house is called a burrow. It is underground.
Where are your stairs?
Asked Peppa.
We don't have stairs.
Says Rebecca.
We have tunnels instead.
Wow.
Rebecca has a big family. There's her mummy, her daddy, and her little brother Richard.
And here are the baby twins.
Says Rebecca. Peppa nods.
Hello, Robbie and Rosie.
Rebecca and Peppa go to the petting farm together. They like to stroke the tiny animals,
Look at their cute little faces.
cries Rebecca.
And their fluffy little bodies.
Says Peppa. Peppa has lots of fun with her friend Rebecca. Sometimes she pretends to be a rabbit too. All she has to do is twitch her nose and squeak. Peppa loves Rebecca Rabbit. Everyone loves Rebecca Rabbit. The Peppa Pig, Freddy Fox. This is Peppa's friend, Freddy Fox. Freddy likes playing pretend,
Wow.
I'm a policeman,
says Freddy.
and you're under arrest.
Snorts Peppa.
What a funny game.
Freddy is very musical. He can play the triangle,
I can play the guitar.
says Peppa. Let's play together, says Madame Gazelle. Freddy is very good at smelling. He has a super nose.
What do I smell of, Freddy?
Freddy sniffs.
Flowers and muddy puddles.
Peppa and Freddy like going to new places. They even have fun at the supermarket.
It's a fruit day,
Says Miss Rabbit.
Who would like a smoothie? Me, please,
Shouts Freddy.
and Pepper.
Peppa has lots of fun with her friend Freddy. Inside Mr. Fox's van, there is a treat for Freddy. And one for his good friend Peppa.
Hooray!
Peppa loves Freddy Fox. Everyone loves Freddy Fox. The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa's Royal Party. Peppa and her family were very excited when Mr. Zebra, the postman, arrived with a special letter.
This is for you, Mummy Pig, he said. It has a crown on it. I think it must be from the Queen.
Wow!
Mummy Pig opened the envelope very carefully.
What does it say?
Cried Peppa. It's an invitation, said Mummy Pig. The Queen is giving me an award for the book I wrote.
Wow!
She has invited us and her friends to her Platinum Jubilee garden party.
Hooray!
Oh, goody,
said Peppa.
what's a Platinum Jubilee party?
It's a special party to celebrate the Queen having been Queen for 70 years, explained Daddy Pig.
Wow,
Gasped Peppa.
she must be nearly as old as you, Daddy.
Daddy Pig chuckled. Almost, he said. Peppa phoned her friends to invite them to the Queen's party.
There will be lots of guests.
Peppa told Rebecca Rabbit,
Wow!
I'll ask my mummy to pack a giant picnic.
said Rebecca.
The Queen has a big garden.
Peppa told Susie Sheep.
We should take some games to play. Yippee!
Cried Susie.
I'll do that. What should I wear?
Asked Danny Dog.
Your smartest clothes,
Said Peppa.
and bring boots for jumping in puddles. I know just what to pack.
Said Freddy Fox. The Queen sent a big red bus to take everyone to the palace. Are you sure we need all these bags? Asked Danny Pig. You can't turn up to a royal party without bringing anything, said Mummy Pig. That'd be very rude. Oh, very true, said Daddy Pig. We wouldn't want to be rude. Peppa and her friends made up a song on their way to the palace. They sang it very loudly.
It's the royal party today, let's sing all the way. It's the royal party today, hip hip hooray.
As the bus got closer to the palace, there were lots of people setting up their own garden parties for the Queen's Jubilee. Peppa and her friends tried to do special little royal waves. Lots of people are celebrating with the Queen today, said Daddy Pig. When they arrived at the palace, everyone was very excited.
I think there will be a giant chocolate fountain,
Whispered Susie.
70 giant chocolate fountains,
Said Freddy.
I think she will have an enormous gold cake.
Whispered Peppa.
70 enormous gold cakes.
Said Freddy. The doors opened and they were led out to the palace gardens. They were surprised to see no food or drinks or games. Hello now, said the Queen. Thank you for coming. I'm afraid we had a slight hiccup.
Sorry to hear you have hiccups, Your Majesty,
said Peppa. No, I'm quite all right, replied the Queen. It's my party planner. He got the date muddled up. He thought the Jubilee was tomorrow, so we cannot have my party today. Oh no! Everyone gasped.
But you must have your party, your majesty, said Peppa.
Must I? asked the Queen.
Oh yes, said Peppa. The whole country is waiting to celebrate with you.
I'm not sure I can, said the Queen. I don't have any party things.
We've brought some with us. What do you need?
asked Peppa. That's very kind, but we need an awful lot, said the Queen. Food for all the guests.
My mummy sent this picnic for everyone,
said Rebecca, unpacking a giant picnic with plates of cakes, sandwiches and jellies.
My dad packed these teapots and chairs,
said Freddie.
They're made of real fake gold.
This picnic looks wonderful, said the Queen, but what will we do other than eat and drink? I don't have any games.
I have these, your majesty,
said Susie, who had 3 big boxes of garden games.
Wow.
Will they be okay?
What fun, said the Queen. Yes, they will do quite nicely. Peppa and her friends pulled out balloons, bunting, and even a music box from their bags. Soon the garden was transformed into a royal party fit for a queen. How extraordinary, said the Queen. You have brought everything one needs for a royal party. You could say we pulled it out of the bag, ma'am, said Daddy Pig. When the other guests started to arrive, they were very impressed. It looks wonderful, they said. This is the best Jubilee ever. The Queen presented Mummy Pig with her award. Then everyone tucked into the picnic. But as they finished eating... Oh no, gasped the Queen. I believe it's raining. Whatever shall we do?
Don't worry, said Peppa. I've got an idea.
Peppa whipped out a pair of boots with a crown on them and pointed at a muddy puddle.
I brought a spare pair of boots for you, your majesty.
How delightful, Peppa, said the Queen. I dare say a royal party is not a royal party without some muddy puddle jumping.
3 cheers for the Queen! And Peppa!
Everyone cried. That evening, everyone sat down to watch the Queen make a speech. I would like to thank Peppa Pig, said the Queen. Without her help, my Platinum Jubilee would not have gone ahead. I am giving her the Queen's Award for Royal Party Planning. One does love a royal party, said Mummy Pig. Everyone loves a royal party. The end. Peppa Pig and the Easter Rainbow. Peppa and George are going on an Easter egg hunt.
I want to find lots of eggs, one in every colour,
says Peppa. George finds the first egg. It is red. Peppa finds the next one.
Wow.
Look, George, it's orange.
Mummy and Daddy Pig are hunting too. Mummy finds an egg in a colour she loves, yellow. Daddy Pig looks everywhere. I know there's an egg around here somewhere, he says. Oh, there we go, he says. A green egg for me.
This is fun,
says Peppa. She and George want to look for more eggs, but the grass is too high. Don't worry, Peppa, says Daddy. I'll mow it. Daddy gets out the lawnmower. He pushes. Crack, snap. Oh no! Oh no! Daddy Pig's lawnmower won't work. Maybe I can fix it, says Daddy Pig. I think we need help, said Mummy Pig. Here comes Grandpa Pig. His big lawnmower will cut that grass fast. Back and forth he goes. Now Peppa and George can look for more coloured eggs. Blue for George, indigo and violet for Peppa. Peppa, George, Mummy Pig and Daddy Pig have gathered a lot of Easter eggs. Drip, 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 drip. It starts to rain.
Oh no!
But then, just as quickly, the sun comes out. Do you know what happens when it's sunny and rainy at the same time? Asked Mummy Pig.
I know,
Says Peppa.
you get a rainbow.
Everyone looks up. A beautiful rainbow stretches across the sky.
Eh,
Says George. And do you know what's at the end of the rainbow? Asked Daddy Pig.
treasure, let's find it.
Shouts Peppa. Peppa and her family follow the rainbow in the car. Uphill and down. Peppa looks at the rainbow. She looks at the eggs.
Look,
She says,
we found eggs in every colour of the rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo and violet.
Wow.
Peppa makes an Easter egg rainbow. Daddy Pig points. I think the treasure is right over there. Everyone goes to the treasure. A great big muddy puddle for jumping. The end. Peppa the Easter Bunny. Peppa is painting a picture of the Easter Bunny with some yummy chocolate eggs.
Let's have a surprise Easter egg hunt, George.
She cries.
We can hide the eggs in the garden, then our friends can come and look for them. Yippee!
Cheers, George. Mummy and Daddy Pig help Peppa and George decorate Easter eggs and hide them in the garden. You're just like the Easter Bunny, Peppa, says Mummy Pig. Peppa giggles.
I am the Easter Bunny.
She says, hopping around like a bunny rabbit.
Daddy,
Says Peppa when they finish hiding the eggs.
can I surprise my friends and dress up as the Easter Bunny? Jeep, jeep.
Asked George. Says Daddy Pig, thinking. Let's see what we can find in the dressing up box. In no time, Peppa is dressed as the Easter Bunny and George is dressed as a chick.
Wow.
Perfect, says Daddy Pig proudly. Your friends will be here soon, says Mummy Pig. I'll help you hide so you can surprise them. Just then, the doorbell rings. Daddy Pig answers the door. It's Peppa's friends.
We're here for Peppa and George's surprise Easter egg hunt,
says Danny Dog excitedly. Splendid. This way, please, says Daddy Pig, leading them to the garden. Ready, steady, hop, shouts Daddy Pig. Peppa's friends set off hopping, skipping and running around the garden, looking for eggs.
Found one,
says Susie Sheep.
me too.
Says Danny.
This is the best Easter egg hunt ever,
Meow.
Cries Candy Cat.
we've all found an egg,
Says Susie.
but where are Peppa and George?
The children hear a tap, tap, tap noise coming from behind a bush.
Look,
Gasped Pedro Pony.
there are 2 giant Easter eggs left.
The children run over as the giant eggs begin to crack. Tap, 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 tap. And out jump Peppa and George.
Surprise!
Says Peppa.
Peppa the Easter Bunny!
Gasp the children.
And George the Chick! Did you like our surprise Easter egg hunt?
Asked Peppa.
Yes!
Everyone cheers. Everyone loves the Easter egg hunt. Everyone loves Peppa the Easter Bunny and George the Chick. The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa's Castle Adventure. Peppa and George are going to visit a castle today. Maybe we'll see a dragon, says Daddy Pig. Arr, says George. George likes dragons.
Only a pretend dragon,
Says Peppa.
Dragons are not really real.
Daddy Pig parks a car in the car park.
Welcome to the castle tour,
Says Miss Rabbit.
Cars are parked at the owner's risk. What does that mean?
Asks Peppa. Nothing, snorts Daddy Pig. They always say that in car parks. Mr. Rabbit comes out of the castle. He is dressed in armour like a knight. The castle tour starts here, he says. Let's fire the cannon. A cannonball shoots out of the cannon. It flies all the way down to the car park. Boom! Boom! Giggles George. This is where the king and queen would sit, says Mr. Rabbit. It's the throne room.
George can be king and I can be queen, decides Peppa.
May I carry on with the tour, your majesties? Asks Mr. Rabbit.
Yes, giggles Peppa, you may.
Mr. Rabbit opens the door to a secret passageway. It leads to the dining hall. Look at all the food, gasped Daddy Pig.
It's a real banquet,
says Mummy Pig. Peppa picks up a bread roll.
Ugh.
The food is made of plastic. Don't worry, says Miss Rabbit. Your real banquet is coming. Miss Rabbit brings in 4 little boxes. Here we are, she cries. Ye olde cheese sandwich with Jester's pickle.
It's a banquet in a box,
Cheers, Peppa. And now, says Mr. Rabbit, it's time to meet the dragon. Peppa and George climb to the top of the castle. A huge dragon stomps towards them, with Miss Rabbit waving from the top. The dragon is a robot. The robot dragon marches all the way up to the castle. It's nearly crushed our car, splutters Daddy Pig. Cars are parked at the owner's risk, Miss Rabbit reminds them. Cheers, George. He loves castles. Everyone loves castles. The end. George's first day at playgroup. Today is George's first day at playgroup.
Isn't George too small for playgroup?
Asked Peppa. You can look after him, says Daddy Pig. Peppa isn't sure she wants George at her playgroup, but she likes the idea of looking after him.
Are you sure George is big enough?
Peppa asks when they arrive. Yes, he'll be fine, replies Daddy Pig.
Okay, he can come,
says Peppa. She holds onto George's hands. Snorts George, jumping up and down. Here is Madame Gazelle, Peppa's playgroup teacher. She looks after Peppa and her friends. Madame Gazelle tells the children that George is coming to play. The children are all very excited about meeting Peppa's little brother.
This is my little brother George,
cries Peppa.
Grrr, dinosaur,
growls George. Everyone laughs.
I wish I had a little brother like George,
buzz Susie Sheep. George shakes his toy, Mr. Dinosaur, at Madame Gazelle.
Grrr, dinosaur.
Ah, really scary, laughs Madame Gazelle. Peppa is proud of George, making everyone laugh.
George is my little brother. He's brilliant,
she says. Shall we show George how we paint pictures? Madame Gazelle asks the children.
George is not very good at painting,
says Peppa,
but I can show him how to paint a flower. Watch me, George,
snorts Peppa.
First, you paint a big circle.
Peppa carefully dips her brush into a pot of pink paint and draws a big pink circle right in the middle of her paper. George draws a big green circle.
No, George, that's the wrong colour,
snorts Peppa.
Watch me.
Peppa makes yellow petal shapes. George paints a green zigzag.
George, that's the wrong shape,
says Peppa. Peppa admires her flower painting.
Perfect,
she says happily. George is still painting. Instead of a stalk and leaves, he has painted another circle with 5 lines sticking out from it.
You're doing it all wrong,
says Peppa.
I've painted a flower,
says Peppa. Very good, Peppa, smiles Madame Gazelle. And look, George has painted a dinosaur. Madame Gazelle sticks Peppa and George's pictures on the wall. Now it is time to go home. What will you paint next time, George? asked Madame Gazelle.
Dinosaur!
Giggles George. Everyone laughs. The end. Peppa Pig, Grandpa Pig's lawnmower. Peppa and George are playing in the garden with their ball. Come on, George, says Peppa, throwing the ball up into the air. The ball lands in some long grass. Peppa and George go to find it. Peppa and George are having lots of fun. But where is the ball?
The grass is too long, says Peppa. We'll never find it.
Mummy Pig decides that it's time to cut the grass. We've let the garden get out of control, she says. Daddy Pig wheels out the lawnmower. It's a bit old and rusty, says Mummy Pig. Nonsense, says Daddy Pig. Daddy Pig goes to push the lawnmower through the long grass, but it falls apart. Perhaps it's time to phone Grandpa Pig for help, says Mummy Pig. Grandpa Pig drives his motor mower over to Peppa's house. This is a job for Betsy, says Grandpa Pig. Betsy is the name of Grandpa Pig's motor lawnmower.
Wow!
Betsy doesn't go very fast. They are slowing down the traffic. Grandpa Pig toots Betsy's horn proudly. Finally, Grandpa Pig arrives.
Hooray!
He drives Betsy into Peppa's garden. Hello, everyone. I hear there's some grass that needs cutting, says Grandpa Pig.
Hello, Betsy, says Peppa. Grandpa, can we ride on Betsy?
Of course, says Grandpa Pig. Hop aboard.
Hooray!
Peppa and George climb up onto the motor mower next to Grandpa Pig. Hold tight, says Grandpa Pig. Together they drive into the long grass. Whoosh! Grandpa Pig is having lots of fun. Betsy is very good at cutting grass. Peppa and George are enjoying their ride.
Grandpa, you've missed a bit,
says Peppa. Good spot, Peppa. What's that over there? Says Grandpa Pig.
Our ball!
Cheers Peppa.
Hooray!
There you go, says Grandpa Pig. Cutting grass is easy with Betsy. Thank you for cutting our grass, Grandpa Pig, says Daddy Pig.
And thank you for finding our ball, Grandpa,
says Peppa. The end. Peppa Pig, George's friend. Peppa and her friends are having lots of fun at the playground today. Peppa is on the roundabout with Susie Sheep and Danny Dog. George is playing in the sandpit with Mummy Pig. Rebecca Rabbit and her little brother Richard Rabbit arrive. Richard has brought his toy dinosaur.
Hello, everyone,
says Rebecca. Please, can I play on the roundabout too?
Hop on, Rebecca, says Daddy Pig.
Let's go really, really fast,
says Rebecca. Richard wants to go on the roundabout with his big sister. Peppa sighs.
If Richard gets on, it means we can't go fast. Richard, perhaps you'd like to play with George instead,
says Mummy Rabbit.
No,
Says Richard.
George has a dinosaur just like yours.
Says Mummy Rabbit.
Let's go and see.
Richard is the same age as George, and they both love dinosaurs.
Richard wanted to see George's dinosaur.
Says Mummy Rabbit.
Dinosaur!
Roars George. George and Richard both giggle. George, can Richard play with your dinosaur? Asks Mummy Pig.
No,
Says George.
Richard, can George play with your dinosaur?
Asks Mummy Rabbit.
No,
Says Richard. George and Richard do not want to share their dinosaurs. Mummy Rabbit gives both dinosaurs to George. George laughs and Richard starts to cry. Then Mummy Pig gives both dinosaurs to Richard. Richard laughs and George starts to cry.
George and Richard always cry when they play together,
Says Peppa.
Can you two big girls teach him how to play together?
Asks Mummy Rabbit. Peppa and Rebecca take George and Richard to the sand pit. The girls show their brothers how to make sand castles.
Wow.
George uses his spade to squash Richard's sandcastle. Richard cries. Richard uses his spade to squash George's sandcastle. George cries. This game has not gone very well. Oh no! George, what's your favourite thing in the whole playground? Asks Mummy Pig.
Seesaw!
Shouts George. George sits on one end of the seesaw, but it needs someone on the other end. Richard wants to play on the seesaw too. Mummy Rabbit lifts Richard onto the seesaw. George and Richard go up and down on the seesaw.
George and Richard are playing together,
cheers Peppa. George likes Richard. Richard likes George. George and Richard like playing together. The end. Peppa Pig, Grandpa Pig to the rescue. Grandpa Pig is taking Peppa and George for a ride on his little train, Gertrude. Gertrude has rubber wheels so we don't have to go on train tracks, says Grandpa Pig.
Wow.
I love Gertrude,
says Peppa. Miss Rabbit is in her big train, taking the grown-ups to work. Morning, Grandpa Pig, calls Miss Rabbit.
out on your toy train again.
Gertrude is not a toy. She is a miniature locomotive, says Grandpa Pig. The big train is going very fast. It can go much faster than Gertrude. Oh no, the big train has broken down. Gertrude catches up with Miss Rabbit's big train. You need to get yourself a train that doesn't break down like Gertrude, says Grandpa Pig.
That's a good idea,
says Miss Rabbit.
I'm borrowing your little train.
All change, calls Mr. Rabbit. All the passengers climb into Gertrude and Grandpa Pig is left behind. Oh no! Mrs. Cow is waiting for the train at the next station.
Has the train sunk?
asks Mrs. Cow.
No,
This is a toy train, says Miss Rabbit.
Gertrude is not a toy train. She is a miniature locomotive, says Peppa.
There's a traffic jam on the road, so Miss Rabbit takes a shortcut.
Bonk, bonk. Hello, ducks,
calls Peppa as they ride past the duck pond. Gertrude might not be very fast, but at least she can ride on the grass. Gertrude crawls up the very steep hill.
Wow!
You can make it, cheer the passengers. Gertrude reaches the top of the hill very slowly. By the time she reaches the last station, it will be time for everyone to go home again. Back down the line, Grandpa Pig is trying to mend the big train. Grandpa Pig loves mending things.
So many interesting bits and bobs,
says Grandpa Pig, but can he put them back together again? Finally, Gertrude reaches the station, and so does Grandpa Pig with the big train.
You've mended it,
says Peppa.
all change,
calls Mr. Rabbit. Everyone gets in the big train ready to go home.
Off we go,
says Miss Rabbit.
Stop,
cries Peppa.
What about Gertrude? We can't leave her behind. Don't worry, we can take the toy train as well,
says Miss Rabbit. She uses a crane to hoist Gertrude into the big train.
Wow!
Gertrude is not a toy,
says Grandpa Pig.
We know, says Miss Rabbit. She is a miniature locomotive.
Miss Rabbit drives all the passengers and Gertrude home. Everyone agrees that Gertrude is the best miniature locomotive in the whole world.
Gertrude is the best train in the whole world,
says Peppa. The end. Peppa Pig, Grandpa Pig's greenhouse. Peppa and George are at Granny and Grandpa Pig's house. They race across the garden to find Grandpa Pig.
Hello, Grandpa,
shouts Peppa. George has found a ball and is playing with it.
Careful, George, my greenhouse is made out of glass, which breaks easily,
says Grandpa Pig. Grandpa Pig throws the ball out of harm's way. The ball goes over the fence and lands in Grandad Dog's garden.
Oi! Who's throwing footballs at my greenhouse?
Grandad Dog calls over the fence. Grandpa Pig goes to speak to Grandad Dog.
Call that a greenhouse? It's a pile of rotten old windows,
says Grandpa Pig.
It'll grow more than you do with your fancy grass box,
replies Grandad Dog. Grandpa Pig decides to leave Grandad Dog to his gardening.
Could I have some tomatoes, please, Grandpa Pig?
asks Granny Pig.
I'm afraid the tomatoes aren't ready yet, says Grandpa Pig. Maybe Grandad Dog will lend us some of his, suggests Granny Pig. Grandad Dog,
calls Granny Pig.
Do you have any tomatoes we could borrow? Borrow? You can take as many as you like,
says Grandad Dog.
Hooray!
Everyone goes into Grandad Dog's greenhouse.
They're a lot bigger than your tomatoes, Grandpa,
says Peppa. They may be bigger, but that doesn't mean they are better, replies Grandpa Pig.
Yummy! This is the best tomato I have tasted ever,
says Peppa, tasting one. Says Grandpa Pig. Now Granny Pig has a basket full of delicious tomatoes.
We're going to make a tomato salad,
says Granny Pig. Grandad Dog tells her about his special tomato and basil salad recipe. The problem is I don't have any basil, says Grandad Dog.
My grandpa had lots of lovely basil,
says Peppa. Grandpa Pig shows them the basil he has grown in his greenhouse.
Wow!
Very impressive, says Grandad Dog. Peppa and George are feeling hungry now.
Is it lunchtime yet?
asks Peppa. It's time to make the salad. First we slice up the tomatoes, says Grandad Dog. Then we use a little splash of olive oil. Don't forget to add these lovely basil leaves, says Grandpa Pig. Time to tuck in, everyone, says Grandad Dog. Grandad Dog's tomatoes are marvellous and Grandpa Pig's basil leaves are beautiful.
This is the best tomato salad in the world ever,
cheers Peppa. The end.
Hi kids, did you have fun watching this video? Then like and subscribe for more.